on people's interests, kind of body language and whatnot. And I can interact very well, and I think I could, introduce that line of products to whoever's coming in and kind of looking at it and kind of striking up a conversation and showing them the value of the product and the need that they could use to take that home and take advantage of it. So, just my dealings with the public, through my experience with Sam's Club, I think, I would have a pretty good advantage as far as, picking up on the nuances of the member and hopefully, closing the sale.
Okay. This is also what I like to call a relentless, hardcore close. Now, we do this very professionally with pure integrity. However, we push the envelope, and some might say we cross that fine line. And I know a lot of salesmen and women out there that don't like to sell that way because, frankly, they don't like to be sold that way themselves. And that's what this is. This is a very relentless, hardcore close. We don't just let people off the hook. I like to say we make them take them, in a sense. And it can, for the wrong salesperson, it could be a very uncomfortable sale. So I guess that being said, how do you feel personally about the hardcore close?
Well, obviously that's, something that personally I don't like myself as far as, being pushed and whatnot. But, if you believe enough in a product and can show that value and show them that they really can't leave that store without having this product, you got to do what you got to do to make the sale.
Okay, well, that's the right answer, but also given what you said, is that something that you honestly, taking a true self-inventory, could you honestly see yourself doing that, relentlessly all day long with every person that you come in contact with?
Well, I think it's on how you approach it, and I think, you can be relentless, but also being behind your product and not being obnoxious, crossing that line. And just totally believing in that product and showing to that member that they absolutely need this product. I think you just kind of got to find your niche, and I think you can do that without, still being relentless, but without crossing the line, so to speak, if that makes sense.
It does. Okay. Well, here's what I think I'm going to do to really just kind of make sure there's a good fit. I'm going to lay this out here for you real thick and heavy of what this is. I shoot straight. I don't fluff anything. I don't make things sound better than they really are, rah, like a lot of sales organizations out there do. And, frankly, I respect that. But as I go down this road right now, I need you to do me a favor and be very, very honest with yourself. Take a self-inventory, if you will. And if I touch upon anything here that's, not your cup of tea, it's not your flavor, however you want to say it, I actually full-heartedly respect that and would just suggest that you keep doing what you're doing now or keep looking for that, next best gig. You're going to see real quick here that this is not for everybody. I'm not saying that it's not for you. I'm just saying you'll see why I say this is not for everybody. So really all I want you to do right now is just kind of sit back and really visualize what I'm saying here. Kind of take a self-inventory, again, of what I'm about to talk about here. So, obviously what we do, Matt, we place you in a Costco, right? Somewhere in the nation out there for 10 days of solid hard work. And my friend, I mean solid hard work. You've done the Sam's Club grind, but I can promise you this will be that times 20. It just will be. You got to trust me on this. Number one, you're by yourself. Okay. And because of the way that Costco runs their operations over there, you are required to be inside of that Costco from before they open those doors to the public in the morning, and you are inside of that Costco until the last customer walks out those doors at night, whatever time zone it is. It's not, gosh, I thought they were supposed to close at 6 o'clock tonight. There's a game on tonight. Or even, I've heard this one, I've had a decent day. It's just been a long day. I just need to clear my head. I'll hit it hard tomorrow. Yeah, I'll hit it hard tomorrow. No one will notice if I sneak out of here 10 minutes early, right? No. You are responsible for that booth inside of Costco until what they call the final push. You're familiar with that, where the last customer walks out those doors at night. So it makes it for a very, very demanding 10 days outside on the road inside that Costco by yourself. You're going to be on your feet on solid concrete for 10 plus hours a day for 10 days straight. With us, there's no stool to sit up on when it's slow. There's no chair to sit in when it's slow. You're not leaning up against our product, right? When frankly, to be honest with you, it can sometimes be that slow inside of Costco. You know, some of those days in Sam's Club were probably just that slow. And so you're kind of seen more as a Lone Star sales ranger out there, you could say, hustling on your feet the entire time, making sales happen. You're going to be required with us to go from a standing position to a kneeling position. Every single sales pitch that you give, it's required. Like I said, it's part of our sales presentation. And so you're going to be doing that, I'm going to say more along the lines of 60 to 160 plus times a day if you're doing your job right. Standing, kneeling, right? You've got to be able to do that without waiver, without any issues now or foreseen into the near future, okay? This is a brutal industry to break into as far as the road shows go. You know, I've got 90 plus certified sales killers out there. And I mean totally different breed of people, you know, walking this planet. I swear they are. And this is an industry where this is going to kind of sound cheesy, Matt, but every minute counts, especially when it's sometimes just that slow inside of Costco. And you'll hear other representatives from other roadshow companies that are also there selling the same time you are inside of Costco. Their reps will come up to you and they'll talk to you like this. Say your name was Matt. Hey, Matt, yeah, it was nice to meet you the other day. Hey, listen, man, I've been coming to this Costco for years now. It's going to be a little bit slow this morning till about 11:30. You know, I take what I can. And at about 11:30, that mid-morning crowd comes in till about 1:30, and I really bring my hustle. And then about 1:30 to 4:30, it's like crickets in here, you know. So I'll go grab some food and, you know, maybe some of the taste testers that are here. You know, we all know each other here, you know, and listen. And then about 4:30 till about 7:30, that night crowd comes in. And let me tell you what, we bring our A game for that night crowd. And then from 7:30 to close, you know, we're going to be here for 10 days. You know, we don't want to stress yourself out or anything. I take what I can, you know. So, I mean, that's honestly how they talk, perform, and act. And we don't do that. My guys bring it to a whole new level, and it's just very, very different. It's pretty hardcore the way our guys perform out there compared to some of the other sales representatives from other organizations, and we just don't allow our guys to get into those ruts. Now, obviously, easier said than done, but you think about some of those days inside of that Costco, how it's going to be. That's not easy. So you've really got to be that person that can just drive and be bring your A game at all hours, even when it's sometimes just that slow. But it's funny, the point that I'm actually trying to get to here is because my guys and gals don't want to miss a sale out there, they don't take, you know, the culture, you could say, is they don't take an hour lunch. They don't even take a half hour lunch in that 10 plus hour day. You know, they probably take maybe a 15, 20 minute window. They'll slide back to the back of Costco, buy themselves a slice of pizza, hot dog, salad, whatever, right? Chunk it down. And then they're back on the sales floor selling. You know, now obviously, use the restroom once or twice during the day, but that's honestly about it. And, you know, we definitely want them to keep themselves healthy. You know, it's a grind, 10 plus hours a day on your inside that Costco. You know, so my guys and gals, they'll probably buy a case of protein shakes, slide it under the table at their booth. They'll buy themselves a case of water, slide it under their table at their booth. And they keep themselves healthy. Yeah. But it's a grind. This is a all day long grind. So that's kind of the physical nature of this position. You know, it's not for everybody.
Sure.
Now, the emotional side. This is by far one of the more emotionally demanding jobs I've ever done in my life. And I've done some pretty crazy things myself. And gosh, to kind of set the tone here for you on this one, there's really three different types of salespeople out there. First, you got your sales initiators. They're the go-getters, full of life, ambition, drive, tenacious. They can meet and greet and stop and talk to everybody. They don't care, right? The hustlers, if you will. Then you've got your cold callers, the guys and gals out there, right, that are willing to dial for those dollars in a B2B situation, great at getting past those gatekeepers. But frankly, Matt, the majority of those tend to struggle with getting the cash, closing the deal, right? So what do? They set the hook for the closers out there, right? And then, of course, we have our sales closers, deserving of everything in life, right? Been told their whole lives what? They can, quote, unquote, sell ice to Eskimos, right? But closers that are just closers, these guys, I've gotten to a point in my life where you just place the deal in front of me and I'll close it for you. Those guys. They will generally run as far and fast away from having to cold call as humanly possible. And here at Traeger, Matt, you've got to be all three. And if you're not all three, you will not make it. There's no way around it. There's no warming up into it. You won't make it. And every salesman and woman out there knows very well whether they are all three or not. You know very well yourself whether you truly are all three or not. And there's nothing wrong if you're not all three, but here you have to be. So when I say the words cold calling, right, or when you're looking at a job description and it says cold calling, make 150 cold calls a day, and you're like, when hell freezes over, right, you won't make it here. When I say the words hardcore close, and I know we talked about this a little bit, but if that makes you cringe, even just a little bit, you won't make it here. I've seen some of the best sales closers come over here from their respective industries, and Costco literally eats them up and spits them out 4 or 5 hours in every single time. And then the question is, well, why? Why? It couldn't be that bad, right? Why? It's Costco. I mean, there's people walking around with American Express cards, or they paid a membership to be there. Really, like why is that bad? Well, because of the nature of the position. So imagine here with me, right? You're standing there at an end cap at one of the aisles at Costco. You've got all those Costco members walking back and forth past you. The majority of this position, Matt, I'm going to say, 80+% of this position is literally stopping those Costco members dead in their tracks as they're coming up the aisle at Costco. You stopping them, not them showing interest in coming up to you and going, hey, what is that? Tell me about that. Those days are long gone where the new product rolled into town and everybody gets excited and wants to hear about it. Gone. That ended about 6 years ago. And so it has completely changed. So again, the majority of this position is you stopping those members dead in their tracks. But it is relentless. It is person after person after person after person after person after person all day long for 10 plus hours a day. And so why do these guys fail? They come over here. Well, yeah, you're not dialing for dollars by any means. But remember, I told you that closers will run from cold calling. Well, this is the purest form of cold calling in a live and real setting that you're ever going to get thrown into. And so they can't handle that. Because to them, it's no different than picking up the phone. You're going, bring, bing, bing, click, ring, ding, ding, click, ring, ding, ding, click, right? They hate it. Now, the aspect of this that causes these supposed closers to fail is they psychologically and emotionally can't handle rejection, which is quite interesting because that's what makes them such great closers. They don't want to have that no. But because of the unorthodox way of doing business, right, stopping those people dead aisle as they're coming up the aisles of Costco there, you're going to hear more no's in your face than most closers are used to experiencing in an entire month or two, depending on where they're coming from. And so they can't wrap their heads around, why are all these people telling me no? Can't handle it. Okay? When really, it's just the nature of the position. Right? Filtering through all those no's to get to those yeses. That's honestly what this position is. And yeah, you have to be able to close. But you gotta be honest here. If you're visualizing this the right way, it takes a special sales cat to get through all that. Okay? Now let's talk about what it's not real quick. Sometimes people picture a guy or gal with a microphone on their head, putting on a presentation, answering questions, closing deals, putting on another presentation. Okay, that's not what this is. Again, those days have changed. It's gone. Very, very few companies get away with that anymore. And the next thing that I'm going to talk about is critical. This is one of the more, let's just say it's one of the most single-handed reasons why people fail over here, other than the cold calling aspect if they're, not cold callers. Let's say I got a guy that's all three, but he has a problem with this. You won't make it. You won't make it 4 days. And unfortunately, the majority of salespeople on this planet fall into this category. So the chances that you fall into this category are actually pretty high. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong at the end of this, and that's okay. But the reality is that you probably fall into this category. And if you can't flip the switch like that over here, again, you won't make it 4 days. So I want you to imagine with me, Matt, you're at Costco, right? You've pulled somebody out of the aisle. You've got them into your sales pitch. You're going over the features, advantages, and benefits of our product with them. Halfway through your sales pitch, by the way, you're emotionally invested at this point. You take a look over your shoulder and you realize that the person you were just pitching to walked right off on you halfway through your sales presentation. No regard to you whatsoever, just walked right off on you. Basically, you realize that you were talking to yourself for about 3 to 4 seconds. Okay? Now, what the normal salesman or woman's going to do at this moment is he or she is going to take a look over their shoulder to the right in disappointment. They're going to take a look over their shoulder to the left and back behind them because they want to see who else just saw that somebody walked off on them. Hurt their ego a little bit, right? Then they're going to try to collect themselves. This is where they stand up, shuffle some things around, try to blow it off, take a deep breath. And then they're going to give it that good old-fashioned college try again, right? So now they're going to walk back out over to the aisle at Costco. But because of what just happened to them, or something similar, okay, that just confirmed to them everything they've already always known about sales. And now that sales representative is going to look down that aisle at Costco, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen this, Matt, and they're going to start to profile which of those customers coming up the aisle he or she feels most comfortable making that connection with. Meanwhile, 15 to 20, 30 people just walk past them. And here's the thought process. And this is pretty much straight across the board when we're dealing with this. And here's what it is. I've been in sales long enough to know that those type of people never buy. It doesn't matter where I go in sales, those type of people never buy. And, yeah, too old. Oh, that guy looks like he just rolled out of bed, not wasting my time there. Oh, but there's a nice couple. There's a nice family. They're the ones with the money anyway. As soon as they get up here, done, in the bag. Tailored just for me. Right? Now, here's the problem with that. Well, first of all, every salesman and woman out there knows very well whether they're a profiler or not. You know very well over the years of doing business whether you've become a profiler or not. And again, the only problem with it is this. Even if you're that good, and I mean, even if you're that smooth of a sales cat to where you could cherry pick those deals coming up the aisle, right? That's what they call it, right? Cherry picking and bird dogging, right? The problem with it is that you won't move enough volume for us to even want to keep you here. And that's the problem with it. Because here at Traeger, we close everybody. We really do. At least we try, right? It doesn't matter what they look like, what clothes they're wearing, culture, ethnicity, race, religion, political background, disability, age. I don't care if that person looks like they just rolled out of bed. We stop and close everybody. But if you think about that on a high level, that's extremely emotionally exhausting. All the different walks of life that you're going to run into out there across this nation, and you've got to be good enough. Hell, I shouldn't even say good enough. You've got to be willing enough to want to go to the level of that person, whatever that is to you, and close them, you know? So I guess what I'm saying with that ultimately is if you feel like you would have to go outside of your comfort zone in any way, shape, or form to perform at that level, and let's be real here, that is a different level, you just won't make it here, okay? Now, another emotional side of this, that's more work related. This is more personally related. We are a guest in Costco's house, and we are the fastest growing roadshow in the history of Costco. So we're not about to mess this up by any means. So what I'm going to touch upon here, you know, this is more along the lines of Costco's policies and procedures. But again, this is just one of the biggest ones that we see an issue with today. And it affects a vast majority amount of people. And this is another one of those things where you just, sorry, you know, and you might be able to relate to this a little bit based off of working at Sam's, but this is pretty serious stuff here. So when you're at Costco and you could totally justify yourself in this, I mean 100% to you up in here, clear and free, justifiable. Like, what's the big deal, guys? Seriously, there wasn't a person 3 miles near me at the time. You know, I could take a picture of this place right now for you, right? Type of a mentality. And you decide to pull out your cell phone and respond to even a quick text message. Think about that. Text message. Facebook post. Words with friends to keep your sanity. Email. Or even take that quick phone call. You don't get to do that at Costco. And I don't care who you are. That's actually pretty tough as nails. Especially with the way that, you know, instant access to communication has become such an important part of our lives. It really has. You don't get to do that at Costco. And so, you know, I guess what we're saying with the ultimately also is if you can't leave home at home, or if home can't leave you alone when you're there working those hours at Costco, I gotta be honest, it won't be a good fit. And that's, you know, it actually becomes more emotionally exhausting to actually attend to those phone calls and text messages than if you just shut them off. But again, easier said than done, okay? So you know yourself best and your situation. Along the same lines of that, as far as emotionality goes, this can quickly be the wrong job for the wrong person. In regards to your schedule. And this is a industry, the roadshow industry, where we count on our team to be where they need to be. And because it is based off of their performance, their talent. You know, this isn't one of those things where, well, why can't he just call another rep and just throw them in there? Because not every rep is made equally. And not every show is equal to the rep, if that makes sense. And so you are required to, in this industry, basically your schedule is your schedule. Now, I don't say this proudly, but let me just put this in perspective here. I've missed every single one of my kids' birthdays for 5 years in a row, and I have 4 kids. And for some reason, every single time I got my damn schedule, it landed on their birthday. Now, obviously, we celebrated the week before or the week after when Dad got home, right? But that's not for everybody. Not a lot of people can handle that type of an emotional detachment from something that's, you know, traditionally in our culture very important. And but that falls along the same lines as all the other stuff, though, Matt. I've missed anniversaries with my wife. I've missed being the best man at 2 friends' weddings. I missed cruises and parties and get-togethers, right? I've missed it all. But, you know, I got to be honest with you. I have a hard time having empathy, though, for people that do decide to come into this industry and they can't adjust to that. Because if you actually add up the time on this for this particular position, it's almost like 6 months off out of the year. So, I got to be real with you. I'm sorry, but if you can't plan your life around your schedule,
Sure.
I don't know how to help you. Okay, I really don't. Now, obviously, if there's some kind of crazy emergency that's verifiable, yeah, we're gonna make some magic happen. But other than that, your schedule is your schedule. Now, I agree. The reward had better damn well be worth the sacrifice. Absolutely. But your schedule is your schedule. And it's there. The money to be made in this industry it's simply remarkable. It really is. Now, last two things here, and we'll wrap this up and I'll throw the ball back in your court. Mental fortitude. You have to have extreme amounts of positive mental fortitude in order to do this job. I'll give you an example. There might be 2 or 3 days in some of the locations you're going to end up across this nation where you're going to look down that aisle of Costco, Matt, and you're going to say to yourself, I could roll a damn bowling ball down this aisle right now and not hit a person. And let me tell you what, it takes a special sales cat to stay out of your head during those 2 or 3 days of brutal, and I mean brutal hours. Rick told me 6-figure income what? Right? And still hit the numbers you need to hit in order to even keep your job here at Traeger. Now, I don't say that to scare you or to sound threatening. We adore our sales force. They're amazing. But what I am saying with that is this. We're not hiring babysitters to babysit a booth or a kiosk. In other words, we're not hiring order takers. As amazing as our product is, truly the elite of its class, it does not walk off that shelf by itself. We give our salesmen 100% props for moving our product. And it's our salesman. And so you will earn every penny that you make here. And let me tell you, you will feel it in every bone in your body. But understanding what a numbers game is and how to control a numbers game, which we'll teach you what that is over here if everything works out, it's critical to your success. And what I mean by that is we do crazy stuff. I said in the beginning of this, some of our best days of the week are during the slowest days of the week at Costco because our guys and gals get this. They may have to walk 2 aisles down sometimes and snag the person looking at a box of cereal and get that person to follow them all the way back to their booth and then close them. Okay? But that's what works over here. Now, an order taker will say something like this. Well, who does that? I don't want to look desperate out there. Seriously, you guys are like, too hardcore. And a sales professional will say something like this. Oh, okay. So, you're going to let me go beyond the boundaries a little bit. Let me, go after the kill, if you will. Okay. I see where you're going. Right? And that's what that is. Now, last thing here. This is the pitch business. And this is a deal breaker for a lot of people. It's very surprising to me. But I get it. And the reason why they call this the pitch industry, not to sound belittling to you at all by any means, but it is because you are delivering a sales pitch, meaning it is a word for word, perfectly memorized, presented and delivered sales presentation to every single person that you talk to. No variance, no deviance, no coming up with your own one-liners because you're just that smooth of a sales cat, right? And that's a hard pill for a lot of salespeople to swallow. Why? 2 reasons. Number 1, it is hard work. It is taking even a 3-minute sales pitch, which is what this is, but words that aren't yours, right? They've been psychologically put together for a reason because it works. But having that become a part of who you are, literally, and then being able to transition that to the end receiver so that it feels natural. But here's the key. Real to them is no easy task. And then that leads me to the second thing of why people struggle with this. Sometimes I get, I'm not a robot, Mr. Cromar. I'm not a machine. I don't want to sound canned or anything like that. I think there's a little bit of confusion here. Did you even take a look at my resume? I'm a real sales professional. I'm the real deal, In fact, I used to get an email or a phone call after this that used to go somewhere along the lines of this when we first started doing all this. Mr. Cromar, I'm a professional salesman or woman of 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and nobody scripts me, and I sell off the cuff, and I could sell snow to Eskimos, and I'll show you, young man. I'll show you and your company a thing or two about sales. You just throw me out there and let me do my thing, right? And it's like, look, we're not saying that you couldn't go out there and sell a few. In fact, if you're half of what you're telling me you are right now, you could probably go out there and sell a few. But you will not move the volume, and this is proven, that a professional pitchman or woman will move, that professionally hone his or her own craft and continually master this week in and week out. And that's what we're hiring for. This is a profession. This is a career. And, this is not a jobcation, the best way I can describe being scripted to people and how powerful it actually is, there's that fine line between confidence and arrogance, right? And it's those people that can ride that fine line that find the most success in sales. And it's no different than the pitch business. There's that fine line between being a carnival barker and being a professional pitchman. We don't want you to be a carnival barker, but we want you to be so smooth with that pitch that you come so far in under the radar that people don't even realize it. That's how good you have to be. And so it's a very, very difficult career to jump into for a lot of salespeople because they don't get that. And it's very powerful once you do. So anyway, that's what this is, and it's not for everybody, and we realize that. So I know that's a lot to take in. I know that's a lot to feed back. If I've touched upon anything there, Matt, that's not your cup of tea, it's not your flavor, you know what? We actually, full-heartedly respect that. We really do. So that being said, that's what this is. So how do you, at this point, taking that, good self-inventory, how do you feel about all of that?
Well, obviously there's challenges in anything you do and anything that you explore. And you have to fine tune yourself, to be better. And every day is a new experience. A lot of things that you said made sense as far as the cold calling and stepping out of your comfort zone, but you're allowed to step out of your comfort zone. You're allowed to go for that kill, so to speak. And I think buying into the, what you're saying and training and getting in that setting. I mean, I fully understand the slow days at Sam's Club, and I fully understand the vendors that I've worked with in the past, and a lot of them, they're in that mindset. Hey, I'm going to get a Coke. I'm going to, that's just not me. That's not what I'm made of. So there are some factors to what you said that makes a lot of sense to me, and some factors that are scary. I'm going to be honest with you, but I'm very adaptable. I'm a quick learner. I'm open to new experiences and new opportunities. And I think that the upswing or the upside to this opportunity, far outweighs the downsides of it. So, with that being said, there's definitely challenges involved, but I like challenges. I like to, present myself and conquer challenges and make myself better. I'm going to have some roadblocks just like anybody, but I take those roadblocks and I learn from them and I make myself a better person. Okay.
Matt, I'm curious, what are the things that scare you and what are the roadblocks you see?
The thing that kind of scared me, I guess, is, keeping that intensity up constantly and which I'm accustomed to, but it is physically demanding, and staying with it and with the possibility of not getting good shows or not having a job at all, but I think that comes with any job. You face those challenges every single day and you either rise up to the occasion or you don't.
Yeah.
The cold calling doesn't really bother me. I mean, I can talk to anybody. And it's nice to know that, you can kind of step out of your box and go grab people and bring them to your booth and be creative. And that aspect I like. A lot of those folks just sit there at their table all day and just watch people walk by, and it's nice to know that you can kind of step out of the box and go after the sales and be able to have the autonomy to do that.
Okay. All right. So does this sound like something you'd like to pursue?
Very much so, yes. I would.
Okay. All right. I'm personally, I'm kind of in between myself.
Okay.
Just because I think you're so much of a relationship guy, I think it's going to be an extremely difficult transition.
Okay.
I think the only way I'm going to be able to tell is in the next step of this, to really make a concrete decision. So I want you to take the night and really think about this conversation, how you would roll into it, how you feel about it, and then I want you to send me an email tomorrow, and after you've taken the night to really contemplate the responsibilities, the demands, all that. And then I want you to shoot me an email in the morning and let me know whether you feel 100% confident in the ability of, hardcore closing and just all of it, everything that I talked about today. But even some of those things that you feel scare you the most. And it's not, I never look at this stuff as anybody backing down from a challenge or anything like that. I look at it as being very real with yourself. There's nothing more cruel. We're very cruel to ourselves, where sometimes we throw ourselves into situations where maybe we shouldn't have. So I want you to take the night, do that, and then I want you to shoot me an email tomorrow. And if you still feel like this is the right fit, then I'll send you the next step, and I'll explain what that would be. We have a little bit of a process moving forward, and what that is, I would get you the sales script once I get your email back. Okay, it'll probably be tomorrow night, and you would have until Wednesday the 8th to have it perfectly memorized, verbatim, word for word, memorized as written. And we would jump up on ooVoo again on the 8th, and you will pitch me our sales pitch. I'll review it. We'll record it. I'll review it. And if I feel like there's a good match, I will fly you here to Utah on Monday the 13th, and I will keep you here until Friday the 17th of May. And that would be to finish the interview process, meaning that time spent here in Utah is not paid for. I do take care of your flight. I take care of your hotel. I pick you up for the shuttle you from the hotel to our facility every day, feed you twice a day off the trader even. But it is to finish the interview process. If you are selected past that week, then you would go out the next week with one of our field trainers. You'd get paid $150 a day at that point for training. And if the field trainer comes back and says, yeah, this guy's legit, he can cold call, he can close, he's great with the people at stopping them, all that stuff, then I will cut you loose, 100% commission, and it's go time. That's our process. But I want to give you the night to really think about it. And if you send me the email and we're a go, that's the process. If you feel like maybe it's just not for you, then I full-heartedly respect that.
Okay.
Okay?
And I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate your honesty and everything, and it's something to think about. So I do appreciate that. And I appreciate the time, too.
I look forward to your email tomorrow. Either way, either decision you make, I respect.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Have a good day.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right. See ya.